Payal and I am from the Management Study Guides content team. Welcome to the course Working Capital Management. Jamie Limited, a rapidly expanding company, distributes school furniture to an increasing customer base spread throughout Europe. Last year, the company opened its branches in Brussels and Budapest, and it plans to open 2 new centers in Berlin and London. Jamie Limited approaches Glen, a chartered accountant, to assess the working capital of the company. The company submits its audited account statement for the last 2 years to Glen for assessment purpose. The objectives that we are going to cover in this course are concepts in working capital management, working capital ratios and other metrics, cash management and fraud prevention, short-term financial institutions, managing bank relationships, accounts receivable and working capital issues, inventory and working capital issues, payables and working capital issues, international working capital, information and working capital, managing the working capital cycle. So let's begin. Here is the significance of working capital. Working capital was not getting the due importance in the past by the companies. The companies were concerned in raising funds through equity and were focusing on choosing information and manufacturing technologies to operate their business and sold their products by developing domestic and global marketing strategies. These global factors have paved way for companies to improve profitability, to reduce costs, and to make business efficient. Here is a traditional view on working capital. Working capital, a positive component of the balance sheet, is considered as a store of value to repay the loans borrowed by the companies. While lending money, the bankers look for financial ratios and other numbers that surpass the preset standards. In the past, this demand was to enable the bank to force a company to borrow to put more cash on the balance sheet, thereby growing the bank's loan portfolio. Timeline involved. The essence of cost management is the efficient design of an entire business process, not a single step or action without that process. The basic methodology advocated is a multi-phase approach. Develop a baseline for the all-in cost for the full timeline of an existing business process. Analyze and cost multiply alternate scenarios for handling that process. Specify non-quantifiable factors and select the most appropriate scenario. Change in timeline element. A change to only one element along the timeline is flawed for 3 reasons. Number 1, the unseen solution. It is impossible to example all possible alternative procedures in optimizing the timeline. Number 2, objective evaluation. All the elements within each alternative may not be properly analyzed. Number 3, timeline element interactions. The impact of one timeline element on another may not be considered. Working capital cost elements. The 2 most critical cost elements to analyze are number 1, float, number 2, processing expenses. Let's take a look at each of these in detail. Float. Funds which are in the process of collection or disbursement is called as a float. The company has to spend a lot to recollect the money which is delayed unnecessarily. Savings opportunities should be examined at every step of the cash flow timeline. There are 4 main types of ratios in general use. Number 1 is liquidity. Number 2 is activity utilization. Number 3 is profitability. Number 4 is financial leverage. Let's understand each of these in detail. Liquidity. Liquidity refers to the cash which a company holds to pay its bills as they come due. Here, cash does not refer to cash in hand or at bank alone, but also includes access to bank loans and short-term investment. Liquidity does not refer to profitability or net worth. Annual review. A typical annual review cycle might consist of the following: first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Let's take a look at each of these in detail. Congratulations! You have successfully completed the module on Working Capital Management. The course is presented to you by managementstudyguide.com. Become a Management Study Guide Premium member and get access to more than 180 courses. We add new courses every week. Thank you for participating. This is Payal.